Okay, here we are, day number 3.
Day number 3, Chi Discovery Week.
Chi Discovery Week. Welcome once again. My name is Chris Shelton.
And I'm Parisa Shelton.
And I'm so excited. You know, we had such a great turnout of questions and comments yesterday from the Chi Discovery Week. So please put into the chat any questions or comments that you'd like for us to address. Or if you have any pain, illnesses, or anything.
Whatever's going on, we want to know. We're here for you.
Yeah, so that's, I guess, let's just go ahead and roll right into it. Yeah. And that's the foundation of Qigong right there is that how to self-empower you to be the best version of yourself and to take control over your own health care.
Yeah, exactly. That's why they say that Qigong is the art that prevents disease and prolongs life, because it gives you the power back.
So yes, the Yellow Emperor has a saying, you know, in order to combat disease after disease sets in is like digging a well after one has become thirsty, or forging one's weapons after engaging in battle. Wouldn't that be too late?
Wouldn't that be too late?
So yeah, so the whole idea of Qigong here is for you to empower yourself, develop a daily practice, just like you'd go for a walk or brush your teeth, or you know, if you go to the gym a few times a week or whatnot. This is an internal exercise. And my friend here in Hollywood physique expert Eric the trainer, him and I have a great synergy because his responsibility for the entertainment industry is to make people look beautiful on the outside for whatever role or parts that they're stepping
Slim
into.
and trim or whatnot.
Right. And, you know, you see the transformations that he creates, you know. Like our friend Marty Cove, who is the
Cobra Kai
from the Cobra Kai karate series.
Yeah.
He looks amazing. And
amazing. He's in his 70s.
He's in his 70s,
wow.
And a lot of that has to do with Eric. But anyways, the synergy that Eric and I have is that he makes people look beautiful from the outside, and then we do it from the inside. And that's what Qigong really is about. So when we look for the fountain of youth, and I think here in Los Angeles is kind of like cutting edge. We have so many organic restaurants here,
a lot of modalities,
a lot of different modalities,
neurofeedback,
in order to stay healthy, looking younger and fitter longer. And so the great thing about Qigong is that you don't have to be in Hollywood. You can do it anywhere.
You can do it anywhere. And that's a cool thing about the World Wide Web.
Making the world a smaller place.
That's right. Yeah. So cool.
Yeah. So the great opportunity, I would say, with the practice of Qigong is that it really allows you a simple technique to deal with day-to-day stress and trauma. Again, just as a recap from Monday and Tuesday, that the leading cause of death and disease is negative emotions. Yes, poor diet, processed foods, drinking too much, smoking too much is going to kill you as well too, or make you sick at least. But negative emotions, and we talked about this yesterday when I gave like the case study about the personal trainer who was dying of carotid artery disease, but she was eating healthy and she was working out 1 to 2 hours every day. So the one component that she was missing was the resentment and old anger that she had towards male figures in her life.
Wow, that's so interesting and fascinating. It's like stress, but then in Qigong they break down stress into different types of stress as being the silent killer. As the silent killer,
because these different types of stresses actually attack different organs of the body and then show up as disease. And one of the cool things about the foundations of Chinese medicine is that, you know, we look at the function of the internal organs, and we look at it from a scientific point of view, but also thousands of years of study on the human organism. And then we look at dysfunctions. What does it look like when these organs are out of balance? How does that show up as disease? You know, in some of the most painful diseases, for example, trigeminal facial neuralgia, for example, which they call the suicide disease, because there's no cure in Western medicine. And trigeminal facial neuralgia is when the nerve seize on the face, and you can't give a cortisone shot, you can't take pain medication, and it's very, very, very intense. The common underlying thread with those types of diseases is prolonged stress. Burning the candles at both ends, so weakening the kidneys, and then also not expressing anger properly.
I see. Is that the same as Bell's palsy, or that's something different?
Something a little bit different, but the etiology, the root of Bell's palsy is similar to trigeminal facial neuralgia.
Oh, wow.
Yes. And also when we talk about TMJ, right?
Oh, it's just,
grinding your teeth. You're someone who grinds their teeth. You know, your dentist or hygienist may say, you know,
those
buy one of those
guards.
expensive mouth guards, when the reality is that one of the functions of your liver is to control your tendons, ligaments, and sinews. And so if you're grinding your teeth at night, it means that this liver is too congested. It's way too congested. And so this is why we grind the teeth. Some people actually will clench their fists.
Wake up with their fists clenched.
Clenched. Or see their nail marks in the palms of their hands in the morning when they wake up. So if you're somebody who grinds your teeth, then we want to look at how much stress, how much frustration, and maybe old anger, resentment has been building up. And that's the great thing about Qigong. And I talked about this, Monday, for example, that the great difference, I'd say, with Qigong and conventional therapy is that, yes, we want you to pick off the scab by revisiting whatever the trauma is, whatever the resentment is. And then by doing the specific practice, like this is the liver move.
We're going to do that a little bit later.
Then, this is how you get rid of the vibration. So it's not only about revisiting the situation, it's focusing on the organ that's responsible for that specific emotion. Then you further add in the color that's associated with that associated organ. If you really wanted to go deeper, you could actually go in the direction. So for example, if you were dealing with anger or resentment, you could actually face east.
Because that's the direction associated with the liver and the wood element.
And the wood element. So there's all these little things that we could do. And talking about directions and stuff, now we get into our 5-element personality typologies.
Oh yeah, and as a side note, each of us has our own 5-element personality type. And if you're curious about which element you are, you can go to our website, sheltonqigong.com, and download your 5-element questionnaire.
Yes, and so we are all a primary typology, and maybe a combination, meaning a wood, fire, for example. We also are a deficiency. So how do we utilize this for health? Well, if you've ever taken an Enneagram is a personality quiz, and I think it's a pretty accurate quiz.
We've done that,
We've done the Enneagram ourselves a couple of times. This is different. This is telling us, yes, our personality, but it's when we deviate from our primary typology, the diseases that show up.
Oh.
That's the important thing about this. So, inside of my book, Qigong for Self-Refinement, the quizzes in there also. On the Shelton Qigong website is a new and improved 5-element questionnaire that I've worked on for the past 7 years.
We've been working on it
because,
for a while.
It has to be accurate in order for people to get the right responses and know what to do. Whether it's Qigong, feng shui, according to your element typology.
Yes.
Right? So, for example, if you were a wood type and you're deviating from your wood typology, maybe you put the head of the bed in the east if possible. Maybe
to draw more of that energy in.
Yeah, maybe you go ahead and have more colors of green or live plants inside your room. And years ago, before I met Parisa, my weakest typology was fire. And is because...
And I'm a fire type.
Yes. So what I had done was that actually my good friend Mark Johnson, who's up in Santa Rosa, Taoist and Chinese medicine master, Qigong master as well too. Him and I used to judge together at the UC Berkeley Chinese martial arts competition. Anyways, he would come and he would teach a 5-element feng shui class. Now he practices all schools, the feng shui, where there's the compass school, the black sect school, etc. But the 5-element school is more about your individual typology. And so I had taken the quiz again, and then he put it up on the whiteboard. He goes, okay, Chris, what's your numbers? Well, I'm a predominant wood type, right? So my wood number was expansive like this, and my fire was this little itty bitty little thing. Aww. And he goes, wow, Chris, he goes, there's a disconnect in your heart. And there was. I'd just gone through a divorce. Someone who I thought was my soulmate, because she was my 12-year cycle of Saturn returns, just broke up with her, kicked her out. So I was done. I was completely done. Didn't want to love, didn't want any kind of relationship whatsoever. And so some of the things I did feng shui wise.
Wait, so was that a wake-up call when you said your heart is disconnected?
That was the wake-up call. It was like, okay, I knew this. I knew that I was disconnected. I knew now I had a wall up. I had this actual energetic wall up. I didn't want to get too close to anybody.
Because you had been hurt so much.
I had been hurt.
And how many of us have had that happen? A lot of us, yeah.
So what I did was I put the head of the bed in the south, and it just so happened that there was a window right above the head of the bed. And so the pyramid shapes pyramid shape or a triangular shape actually represents the fire element. So
Like a flame, kind of.
so I was like, okay, where am I going to find a pyramid? So I went to East West Books in Mountain View, California. And sure enough, I found not only 2 pyramids, but they were red also. So now we're talking
Two red pyramids.
Double fire.
He
double
still
fire.
has those
I
two
still
red-
have.
yeah.
I still have them. Anyways, I put those in the windowsill, and lo and behold, I started to draw more fire people into my life until finally, eventually, where I found the love of my life, who's a fire type, by the way. So that deficiency, actually, then I was able to fill up with having more fire people around me. My good friend that I talked about here in Hollywood, Eric the trainer, he's also a fire type. Their personalities are so similar.
Yeah,
it's
when Eric and I
uncanny.
are done, we're done.
Lights out.
But then we also like to be the life of the party too.
Yeah. So what does fire do? Fire burns bright, and then what does it do? It burns out, right? So if you're a fire type and you feel like, okay, well, like you don't have all this energy, and I
Ready
like
to
being
go.
the life of the party, but then all of a sudden at 7 o'clock at night you're passed out. That's probably close to your nature, So she's normally passed out by 7 or 8
Not
o'clock.
7, come on. I like to live like a monk. Go to bed by 9, wake up at 6.
At 6.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, so just as a little recap, I was introduced to the ancient practices of Qigong at age 19, and then Tai Chi, and then once I saw the health benefits for myself, and in my case, I had severe digestive problems. I went through everything through Western medicine. I had an upper GI, lower GI. Ultrasound. I lived on antibiotics and medications. I could be severe chronic sinusitis, which are chronic sinus infections all the time. I used to get seasonal allergies in September, October, and then also in the spring months.
Like you get congested and stuff?
And sneezing, watery eyes, burning eyes, and after I started practicing Qigong, after seriously about 6 months, it was like all of a sudden the reality, especially with like my stomach issues, like when did I stop, like before if I ate a salad, I was in a fetal position an hour or 2 later in pain. Or if I had an avocado, or if I had, let's say if I had a pork chop, it had a little bit of fat on it, I was done. And then I was all of a sudden the realization like, oh wow, like I could eat this stuff now without having any side effects.
Started to feel better.
Right. And what I noticed is that my stomach issues resolved.
Okay.
My sinus issues resolved.
Great.
And after a couple of years, the realization that my allergies had all gone away.
Wow.
So so like if we have allergies or seasonal allergies, we also have to look at internally as to what's going on. But if you grew up in my household,
You would know why.
you wouldn't understand why I had these medical conditions.
So then at what point did you say, okay, well now I've improved my health and I want to start helping people?
Well, it wasn't really that I even knew what my life purpose was. I mean, at the time, I was a butcher. I did a 4-year medical Qigong program. And what's funny was, I did it twice. And when I finished the first time, I thought I understood Chinese medicine. Then I got sick with a flu bug. And I was sick for almost a whole year.
Before all the coronavirus.
Yes,
Yeah, back in the day.
Back in the day. Well, because viruses and flus kill hundreds of thousands of people each year. And so this was, about 15, 20 years ago.
Wow.
And so what happened was I got sick with this flu bug, which almost killed me. Western medicine, they couldn't figure out what was wrong. It was finally Chinese medicine and acupuncture that fixed me. And I learned so much from it. And it was almost like the universe was saying to me, like, okay, smarty, you think you know,
Smarty pants.
you think you know so much about Chinese medicine, fix yourself. And I did learn a lot. And now in hindsight, fast forwarding with patients, then I
Can pass that forward.
pass that forward.
Wow.
Another side effect from being sick for so long is that I had injured my kidneys as a result. Well, I didn't know it at the time. But I was a butcher, like I said, and I was at work one day on the saw, and everything started spinning forward. I went face forward into the saw.
Oh my gosh.
And luckily the guard was on there, but I ended up with what is referred to as Meniere's disease, which is an inner ear disorder. And
Is that like vertigo?
it's
or?
vertigo,
Oh, it is.
chronic,
Same thing.
chronic
Okay.
vertigo, And so, they look at your vestibular system, which is your inner ears, like
Looks like a snail, kind of.
Yeah, there's a whole number of things that
like
help with our
coils.
balance and those
Ability to hear. Sound. Yeah.
And the only way that they treat it in Western medicine is medicating.
Medication.
Medication.
Okay.
And
Did you take that medicine? Or?
At first I did, yeah, but it didn't help. All it did was make me want to sleep. And then finally I was put on an herbal formula that helped to restore the essence of my kidneys, because our kidneys control our ears.
I see.
And then I was able to then resolve that vertigo issue.
Wow.
Yeah. So what's interesting, and like right now we're actually seeing increased rates of tinnitus due to things, syndromes that are coming up, and we're noticing it more in men for some reason. And another suicide condition, because the tinnitus in these cases is coming up so strongly, so loud that like one of our clients in San Diego said, he goes, "Chris, I had to remove all the guns from my home because, you know, after I got the shot, I had this tinnitus, and it was so bad. It was so bad." And so anyways, so the nice thing about Qigong, and now he's recovering, and the nice thing about Qigong is that it kind of allows you to understand your body at a deeper level.
That's so cool. That is so neat.
And also in connection with your environment as well, too.
Yeah, it's so interesting how everything is so interconnected, don't you think?
Yeah. It's so I've had the privilege of working with thousands of people around the world. As I said on Monday, I got a privilege, thanks to my friend Eric, the trainer, of being on tour for a little bit with Def Leppard and Journey pre-pandemic, and treating the bands, and you know, that was kind of like a pinch myself moment. Was this really happening? But I've really have been blessed that I've been able to work with all types of people from all walks of life.
Right. From stay-at-home moms to professional athletes.
Yeah, you name it. And so, and the reality is that it doesn't matter if you're the stay-at-home mom, if you're a celebrity, if you're a rock and roll star, if you're the janitor, we are all creatures of emotion. Right,
and we're all in this bodysuit.
All of this bodysuit.
Right.
Yeah, and we are all interconnected. All interconnected.
Everyone's connected.
Everybody's connected. So as we talked about, it's really like a vibration, right? If we want to make change, positive change in the world, we have to first start with ourselves. We have to look inside, change our own vibration.
Be the change.
Be the change. And what's interesting, talking about Chinese astrology, actually, which is based upon the 4 pillars.
The 4 pillars.
The 4 pillars, which is month, day, hour.
Ooh, 4th pillar. Location.
Location, yes, location, okay. So when we're looking at it's based on the 4 pillars, and it used to be that depending on those 4 pillars, they would be able to predict your fate or the fortune that you're bringing to the family.
I see.
But when someone does an internal cultivation practice like Qigong, they no longer could tell the fate of that soul's journey, because now you've changed its trajectory.
It's like if you think of life as like a pathway or journey, it's like one little course correction can change where you end up.
Right.
Yeah,
and
that's
so
neat.
So you know, one of the case studies we were talking about, you know, certain case studies, and during this whole pandemic, what had happened was that, you know, as we talked about, there was a lot of fear, a lot of unknown, a lot of isolation, and a fire type, for example, cannot be isolated. Like, they're creatures of community, and you know, and so social beings.
Yeah.
And so one of my friends, good friends, who's a fire type, started to become depressed, and what happened was that I told him, I said, okay, well, I'd like for you to do the Qigong every single day. So join us on the Qi Club, Monday through Thursday. It's only a half hour long.
Right.
Make that a priority. I want you to journal how you're feeling, or what kinds of thoughts are going through your head. And then there's an herbal formula that we mass ordered because of our contracts with the county hospitals, as well as the employee wellness department. You know, we actually got to see some of the numbers of the suicide rates that were increasing.
The addiction
rates.
Addiction went through the roof because they canceled all the meetings and stuff like that.
Spousal abuse, child abuse, that was increasing.
Oh, it's so
there's a formula that we commonly would recommend for well, we recommend for anger issues, anxiety disorders, depressive disorders, and also
That works with the liver.
Works with the
and
liver.
Suicidal.
And suicidal thoughts.
Tendencies.
So I recommended that this person take this
the
as well.
herbs.
Well, he didn't really follow the protocol. And so his wife took him to the doctor. And the doctor said, well, what are you doing? He said, well, I'm trying this Qigong thing, and I'm journaling, he told me to journal and stuff like that. And listen to this, the physician, his primary, told him, he said, no amount of journaling and yoga is going to fix this. And so what he did was he put him on an antidepressant, he put him on an anti-anxiety medication, and he put him on a sleep medication.
Ambient.
Ambient,
Something like that, yeah.
And what happened was that by that physician saying that to him, actually disempowered my friend, took away his power. When you sit there and say that no matter how much journaling, yoga, Qigong, Tai Chi, whatever you do is going to fix this, you now have taken away the power from that person.
Right. Because the mind is so powerful.
So powerful.
That is so...
So what happened was that he started taking these medications, and he got worse and worse and worse. He got worse to the point to where he actually called me after about a week and a half to help him plot his own suicide.
It's making me want to cry.
Now, obviously, I was not going to do that, but I mean, that's pure trust when somebody trusts you enough to plot their suicide. This is how dark of a place that he got. And so what happened was that they said, okay, well, number one, you need to tell your primary, these medications aren't working for you, and he needs to wean you off of them.
Wean off, because don't just go off your medicine. There's a process.
There's a process.
Okay.
And so then he started to show up in the Chi Club every day. And then guess what? He was able to fix his own condition.
And now doing well, vibrant,
back to living his
business
life to the full.
usual.
Yeah, right. Funny.
Wow.
He's a very funny individual.
Oh my God! Thank you for doing that. I had to give you a hug for that.
Yeah. So see, this is how emotions, but it's all trapped inside. And another case study too. This is an interesting one. Is chronic hiccups.
Hiccups.
Yes.
Yes. Oh, at first it seems funny, but after 10 minutes, it's not funny
annoying.
Anymore.
Yes. And if you have chronic hiccups, and so I've had a couple clients, and the way that they treat it in Western medicine is they actually put you to sleep. Anesthetize you to allow you to be able to
calm the system. And then when you wake up, they kind of go away.
They hopefully will go away. Hopefully they'll go away. But so anyway, so again, I had another friend. This is when we're up in San Jose, and a friend down here, and he had these chronic hiccups now for 2 days. So now it's painful. Like Parisa said, after 10 minutes, hiccups are no longer fun.
Right.
And so, and what happened is that this friend of mine, he's, used to being like the crutch for everybody. Like he's
the go-to guy.
Yeah, he's the emotional crutch for everybody. And so what happened was that talking to him, I said, well, isn't there, his son at the time was just admitted to the psych ward, as it was called a 5150, and so all the emotional trauma surrounding that. And so I said to my friend, I said, isn't your son going through his own emotional stuff right now? I said, this is the cause of the hiccups. And what was interesting is that when my friend made that connection that he had been suppressing
how he was feeling about that situation.
Then what happened was that his hiccups went away. Just like that.
Whoa.
And the hiccups were coming about because there was actually a heart imbalance, and this heart imbalance was showing up as these chronic hiccups.
It reminds me of the saying, it must be revealed to be healed. Because a lot of times we experience these things and then we just push it down, deny how we're feeling. And then it shows up as chronic hiccups, suicidal tendencies, migraines,
addictions,
ear problems, all kinds of things.
All kinds of things, yeah.
So, wow. So in circling back, is that the Chi Club, how can that kind of help us get a grasp on situations and tuning back into how we're actually feeling?
Yeah, well, the Taoists have a saying. The Taoists have a saying that it's better to be a part of society, to give back to society. and to learn from society, not to hide away in the mountains and isolate yourself. Every once in a while, it's okay to cultivate.
It's not okay to escape.
Not all the time. Yeah, it's okay to go away for periods of time to recollect yourself, but to purposefully, so you don't have to deal with what's going on in society. It's more virtuous to be a part of society and give back. So if you are a part of society, obviously, and you're contributing in one form or another, you can't help but to be absorbed into the energy of what's going on.
Right.
So the great thing about the Qi Club is that it's an ongoing class. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday from 8 to 8:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, and you're on there with like-minded people like yourselves. And Parisa teaches on Monday and Wednesday, and I teach on Tuesday and Thursday. And as we're going through the practices, like we're going to need to go through a Qi flow here in a few minutes, I'm describing what you're doing and why you're doing it according to Chinese medicine, because again, no matter how simplistic a practice is, every single practice that's taught, or at least in the style of Qigong that we teach, is meant to do something medicinally inside the body.
Yes.
Relaxation is a byproduct of the practice itself, but really how can we harmonize these internal organs, get them to run to their fullest potential, reverse the process of disease, reverse emotional trauma, reverse emotional stagnation, and really have that vibrancy. And because in Chinese face reading, one of the ways that I diagnose in clinic is by being able to read a person's face. And your face represent what's going on the inside. And that's the interesting thing. And what was fun was that about 4 years ago, I gave a talk to the trauma nurses and doctors from regional Valley Medical and Kaiser hospitals in Northern California. And the discussion was on lines on the face or on the ears that now Western medicine is starting to see recognizing
potential disease?
Specific potential diseases.
Wow.
So science is finally, we're crossing over here and we're seeing that there's this correlation between like mitral valve disease, higher low blood sugar, potential for strokes. We could tell if somebody has a broken heart. There's so many different things that we could tell from reading the face. But the reality is that if you want to age more gracefully, then we have to go inside. We could tell by looking at somebody how much sorrow that they have, how much past regrets that they have. And, the more trauma that somebody is exposed to, and if they don't have the proper means in which to release it, then that ages you more quickly.
Yeah.
And then shows up as more lines and wrinkles on the face a lot more quickly.
And so we'll see people's face change with regular practice?
Yes, we'll see I teach a class on this, on Chinese face reading. And as a person goes inward more and starts to process what's going on in their life, then what happens is that, yes, the face actually will change.
Wow.
Now, there's two features on the face that are the most changeable. Do you know what those features are?
The lips.
Lips.
And the eyes.
The eyes. Ding, 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 ding,
Ding,
ding.
ding, ding.
Yes, yeah. So, for example, if you have somebody that has very squinted eyes, that means that they're very self-critical. They're very critical of others.
Like that?
They don't necessarily trust also,
Yeah.
So in order to open up the eyes more, first and foremost, a person needs to be less critical on themselves.
Oh.
Cut themselves some slack.
Forgive thyself.
You start to grant yourself the grace that you are human, living this human experience in this form, this lifetime. And what will happen is the eyes actually will open up more.
Wow.
Yeah.
You have such pretty eyes.
Thank you.
And then going back to the Qi Club, so there's classes Monday through Thursday, and then Friday we'll generally release a community video.
Yeah, so a lot of times, on Friday we'll release a community video on some health-related topic. That's also, if you're on our YouTube channel, Chris Shelton Qigong, you're going to see we have a whole library of videos on different diseases and illnesses and how to fix it yourself. The whole idea is how to understand very simplistically the etiology of disease and chronic pain, and then how to go about fixing it yourself.
Right, and also you can have access to those recordings. So even if you still want to practice Friday, Saturday, Sunday, you can do the community video or go back and do the recorded sessions Monday from Monday through Thursday.
Oh, on the Chi Club itself.
Yeah,
So,
on the Chi Club.
So if you can't join us live Monday through Thursday, then you have the recordings for up to a week. And we actually will see that a lot of our members, because they're going back to work now, or after they get off work, it's a great,
or they're in a different time zone or whatnot.
It's a great way for them to decompress after getting off of work, and so they go back and they watch the videos later on. Do you want to check to see if there's any questions?
Yeah, I'll go check that. And my little notes falling down.
So so Qigong is such a simple practice with profound results, and it's not a belief structure. What I recommend that people do is they just do these simple practices every day, and then you'll start to see the transformation yourself.
Saying hi to Barbara Love in Los Angeles, California.
Hi, Barbara. Thanks for joining us. Yeah, you know, and it's really been such a blessing to be able to share these practices. And my own strife and turmoil in my life, what's been great about it is then I could actually share this with other people. So like when my patients come in to see me, I'm like an open book. I share my life very openly with people.
That's true.
Because, you know, I want people to understand that just because I've been doing these practices for 30 years, you know, God has not given me the golden ticket like, oh, the rest of your life is going to be no stress, no drama, you know.
I got the golden ticket.
Yeah, it's not like that. I mean, we live a very blessed life.
But you have tools when stress comes at you to cope in a way that's more congruent with what you desire for your life.
Yeah, so I have these tools to utilize, you know, and, you know, like I remember a few years ago, because I'm the caregiver for my father. He had a stroke 6 years ago. He's a Vietnam vet. And and he had to have his big toe amputated because he has diabetes. And so while he was in the VA, I decided to have his kitchen remodeled. And so, because these contractors I found said that we could do it in 8 weeks, and they actually did it. So if you're in the San Jose area and you want a good set of contractors, also in Los Angeles too, we have a great contractor down here. Anyways, so I sent an email out to the family and saying, okay, this is Dad's condition, this is how he's doing, and by the way,
we're going to flip the house real fast.
Yeah, we're going to do this. Remodel, and I was doing it for two reasons. First and foremost, my dad has owned his house since 1971.
Right.
And the kitchen was appliances.
From 1971.
From 1971. And so I felt he's worked hard his whole life, he deserves to come home to this brand new kitchen, right? And number two, if something, God forbid, happens to him, I want to be able to flip that house right away and not wait till the last minute.
We didn't know how he was going to come out.
We didn't know.
He was really sick.
He was really sick. He's doing actually
much better now. Yeah.
So anyways, so I sent out this email, and then a week later...
You would think, like, you know, most healthy families, they would say, oh my gosh, thank you, brother, for doing that. You put
taking on this responsibility.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Nope, just the opposite. So my oldest daughter, who is a wrestler, she actually went to Missouri on a wrestling scholarship. She texted me, and it was a very busy Wednesday morning. We actually had a client from Chicago staying with us for a week because I was coaching him and such. And so the house was chaotic, and my oldest daughter had actually emailed or texted. She said, is it okay if I punch your older brother in the face? And I said, well, sure, why?
Oh, sure, why?
And she said, did you read that email that he sent?
And it was like at 7 in the morning.
7 in the morning. And Prisa had an early morning client. She comes in and she says, oh my God, did you see that email from your brother? And she read it to me, and was the most condescending, accusatory email.
It was really rude.
It was rude. And so the first knee-jerk response I think that most of us have is respond. And I didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't. I sat on it. Or
react. You want to react right away.
So no, I sat on it. But one of the practices that I had to do, because every time I would think about it, it would create this angst in my body, is I'd have to shake it off.
Should we do it?
So throughout the day, what I would do is I would just shake and shake it off, you know. So
literally.
Yeah, several times, inhaling. So yeah, throughout the day, whenever this thought would come up into my psyche, then and if I felt this angst, I would pause and shake it off several times. And what it does is that maybe the thought doesn't go away, but the vibration, which creates more discord and emotional discord, goes away.
Wow.
And what ended up happening was that I sat on it and I realized, like, you can't even respond to crazy like that, so I never even responded. But
That's true.
But anyways, so this is the power, and this is what I'm talking about the yes, I have the same. We have the same stresses. We have the
I
same
see.
issues.
We have to cohabitate and coexist in society.
So yeah, so the difference is that we have these practices that we tap into, especially when something like that occurs, and this is the power of Qigong. So,
Wow. Should we try a little Qi flow?
yeah, let's go ahead and do a little Qi flow. So we're going to start off here. If you want to join us, we're going to have our feet out about shoulders width apart. Again, our toes are pointing straight ahead. Our knees are gently unlocked. We're going to tuck that sacrum underneath and press back the Ming Men, which is the acupuncture point right opposite the belly button, in between the left and the right kidney. So again, as a review from Monday, if you couldn't join us on Monday, by tucking that sacrum underneath, and what's happening is that we're actually impressing back the Ming Men. The Ming Men is related to fire, the kidneys are related to water, so it's a proper mixture of fire or water that produces the steam, which is the qi that circulates around the body. All right, so my tip of the tongue right now is on the roof of the mouth behind the teeth, as if saying the letter N. We're going to start off with pulling down the heavens 3 times, and then we're going to go directly into the liver cleansing exercise. So inhaling and exhale. Inhale, just connecting with one another, or just connecting to the breath, calming your mind. Inhaling and exhaling. And then from here, we're going to hold a ball, and then as I inhale, I'm going to imagine a green cloud filling up into the right side of the body where our liver is located. And I want to focus on, to make this into a more mindfulness practice, I want to focus on something that creates anger, frustration, or resentment. Feel it, who's involved, what's involved. Maybe something recent, maybe something you've just seen or heard that's upsetting to you. Maybe something somebody said to you. I want you to feel that. Allow for it to release like a dark cloud going several feet away from the body and deep into the ground. And when this happens, then the positive virtue of creativity and kindness comes in, inclusion. So again, it's the emotions of the emotions of anger and resentment, old anger, hatred will attack the liver and injure it as well too. Okay, so we're going to do a couple more here. Just allow for that circumstance to leave. Now, obviously, these Qigong practices you could do as long as you want, a couple minutes. Just depends on you. So really molding the Qigong practices to fit your needs.
I see.
And then what's going to happen is we're going to slow it down. I'm going to inhale, pull into my liver on the right side. I'm going to lift up the right big toe. And then I'm going to exhale, and I'm going to clear out the liver channel that starts at the big toe, goes all the way up to the rib cage. Last one. And then pull back. All right, do you want to walk us through the heart cleansing exercise?
The heart cleansing exercise. Let's take a moment and connect with our big, beautiful hearts, and then bringing the hands below the navel, tucking the tail and tucking the chin. Let's pivot to one side, press the hands, looking up at the pinky finger. Inhale through the center, exhale, and press. Now the heart is the emperor, empress of the body, taking the emotions and then dispersing it. So just notice what comes up when you tune into your heart. And as you exhale, just feeling yourself relaxing a little bit more, a little bit deeper. And as we draw forth the positive virtues of love and gratitude, in this particular flow, you can start to list off in the mind's ear some people, place, things for which you are grateful for. The color is red or pink. You can imagine like a red cloud radiating from your heart center, guiding the breath in and out through the nose. And then the next variation, the hand on the top of the press comes to the top of the ball. Then the bottom hand unthreads and comes to the top of the press. Now the hand that's at the top comes to the top of the ball. And then we press, maintaining that long spine. Toes are forward, knees slightly bent. Just feeling into the heart. Guiding the breath in and out through the nose. And let's try that one more time, each side. Rooting down as you press up through the crown of the head, coming back to the center with a nice big smile. SMILE, starting my internal love engine. And do that again 2 more times. Deep breath, inhale. And a long, slow breath, exhale. Try that once more, gathering from the space around you. Exhale like a waterfall washing over you.
All right, so now going into the spleen cleansing exercise, we're going to imagine that the fingers become like long, hollow straws, enter deep into the earth. Bring the hands together, a long inhale. I'm going to find a pivot point on the ceiling, and then I'm going to shift to my right, and I'm going to turn. Inhaling and exhaling, now focusing on the spleen, which is located on the left side of the body. The spleen is about the size of a small grapefruit and has a lot of functions. It's a very, very important organ. We're going to allow for a yellow cloud now to fill up into the spleen on the left side of the body. And then as you exhale, letting go of the emotions of worry and anxiety. So if there's something that you're worrying about, over intellectualizing on, then I want you to focus on that. And as you exhale, allow for that to leave like a dark cloud, go now through the feet, also the big toe, actually the inner or the outer aspect of the big toe, where the spleen acupuncture channel begins. Now, if you find that your arms get tired, it's okay to also twist at the waist. And I like to twist the arm here at the end as well. And as we talked about, the spleen also controls your muscles. So worry and anxiety affects the function of the spleen and the stomach. Then we can start to see all kinds of conditions like fibroids and prolapses, like prolapse of the uterus, for example, where the uterus falls out.
Yikes.
So any prolapse of the internal organs themselves.
I notice a lot of people are worried.
Worried right now. So whatever is causing worry for you, I want you to inhale, feel that. Fill up the yellow cloud into the left side of the body. And then as you exhale, allow for the positive virtues of peace of mind and serenity to take its place.
That's beautiful.
So I'm shifting and folding, opening and closing. And again, we have all these Qigong practices on the YouTube channel called the 30 Days of Qigong. And it's as though you're taking 30 weeks with me at my studio in San Jose. So each day I talk about the practice, why you're doing it according to Chinese medicine. Each day builds on top of the next. And it also corresponds with my first book. All right, let's do a couple more. Again, letting the worry to leave and allowing for peace of mind to come in. Last one. Let's come back to the middle, pulling down the heavens one time. Inhale. And exhaling.
I'm going to do a lung cleansing exercise.
Let's do the lung cleansing.
Yeah, 5-element organ cleansing exercise. You're going to bring the arms up chest height, expand the arms out wide like the wings of a bird, and then exhale and empty out. It's tuning into the lungs. You can imagine your lungs like 2 oval balloons. As you inhale, feel the balloons expand front, back, left, and right. And as you exhale, the balloons of the lungs empty, empty, empty. Here we connect with the emotional component of sadness, of disappointment, loss, or grief, which will affect our lung energy, affect our Wei Qi, our energetic bubble, and our immune system. The lungs open through the nose and the pores on the skin. So to make this into a mindfulness practice, you can think of a situation where you experienced a loss, where you felt sad or disappointed. And then as you exhale and empty the lungs, just imagine as if that sadness or disappointment, loss or grief can leave the lungs, leave the cells and tissues of the body. And in its place, we draw forth courage and strength, agility and resiliency, the ability to be in this moment now, and to draw forth acceptance of what is in this now moment. The color is white, so you can imagine like a white, brilliant light radiating from the lungs. You feel that physical strength of the body, and also we draw forth strength of the emotions, strength and sharpening the mind and our Qi, our life force energy. Let's try that one more time. And we're going to pull in towards the chest, pushing down with the hands. Feel the resistance as you push down. Slightly lift up through the crown of the head. One time, pull down heavens. Deep breath in and a long breath out.
Okay, so last practice here, we're going to cleanse the kidneys. So we're going to bring the hand over to the back here, place on the kidneys. We're going to gaze at the back of the hand, and as I bend at the waist, I'm going to gaze at the palm here. Now, like what Priest is doing, if you want to make this into a stretch, you definitely can make it into a stretch to stretch those hamstrings. If you have low back problems, I recommend not bending down so far. Okay, so really be conscious of your back. So even a gentle bend like this will still gain benefit. And as we inhale on the up, we're going to imagine a blue cloud filling up into the kidneys. Now our kidneys are, again, besides the responsibility of secretion and excretion for the body, the kidneys have hundreds of functions and control many different systems in the body. And the kidneys are affected by fear and shock. Now, as I talked about with my own illness that I had a number of years ago, because I was sick for so long, that actually shocked my kidneys and created the vertigo or the Meniere's disease. So fear, shock, so fear, surviving any kind of abuse, trauma. If you're a first responder, God bless you for your service. If you're military, God bless you too for your service. So anything that creates fear and shock, going to let that go like a dark cloud out through the bottom of the feet and down deep into the ground. Let's do one more here, coming to the top. Then we're going to switch, now going the opposite direction and now working with our opposite kidney. So the left kidney is considered kidney yin, which is responsible for the foundations of all the fluids in our body, so blood and sweat and cerebral spinal fluid, digestive fluids. Is yin in nature and originates from the kidney, in particular the left kidney. Right kidney is kidney yang, which is the heat or the motive force, which helps with all the transformational processes inside the body. So for example, digestion, you need heat for digestion, assimilation, the heart to beat, to move fluids between the skin and the muscles. So as we allow the fear to leave, the positive virtue of kindness and willpower come in. All right, let's do 2 more. Exhale, in, and exhale, and bringing it back, pulling down the heavens 1 time, inhaling, and exhaling. And as we place the hands on the lower dantian, just to close up here, with the eyes gently closed, imagine a white mystical pearl that forms underneath the hands, gathering the energy from the space around you. As you exhale, you feel the warmth and the white light radiated around the waist to the kidneys on the low back. Each time you inhale, this pearl gets brighter and brighter. And then as you exhale, you feel the warmth radiated around the waist to the kidneys. 2 more breaths. Inhale. And exhaling, filling up into the kidneys. Last breath, inhale. And exhaling, filling up into the kidneys. And then from there, slowly open up the eyes and shaking out your feet. Okay.
Wow, that gets
How's
us
everybody
pretty
feel?
relaxed, feeling good.
Okay, so that's a taste of a Qigong flow, in particular for the 5 major yin organs of the body.
Wow.
And as you see, it's very simple to do, and you could do just a few movements, or you could do, 10, 15 minutes, especially if you, as you start to join us for the Qi Club and you start to understand like certain conditions that you have and what organ it's related back to, then you may go back and actually do more of that specific
That's right.
organ cleansing exercise.
And that's actually what a lot of people say they like about the Qi Club is that they're 30-minute sessions. So it's like, it's just the right amount of time to get you feeling into the groove and feeling better than before. So, wow.
Wow. So, okay, so we have just a few minutes left.
Okay, so real quick about the Qi Club.
Okay.
So the Qi Club is actually a closed enrollment system, meaning that we only open the enrollment 2 times during the year, maybe 3 times. We go back and forth. So right now, if you went to the Qi Club, you would have to sign up for the wait list. But actually starting tomorrow...
Oh, we're opening everything up.
We're going to open up enrollment starting tomorrow for 1 week. And that will be your opportunity if you would like to join the Qi Club, join a community of cultivators, of Qi developers, and of people who are like-minded, who really are focusing on improving their health, yes, but also just improving themselves and who they are. Yeah.
Yes, and the reason why we have closed the enrollment is because we want to get to know each and every one of you.
Yeah.
Everybody who's on the Qi Club right now, we feel like we've gotten the chance to get to know who they are, the personality,
That's
what
right.
their interests are.
Yeah.
They email us. And so the whole idea of closing off the enrollment, and so that way everybody that signs up, we could actually get chunks of people at a time and get to know who they are, and then better structure the Qi Club, because we're forever evolving. And so we're here as a service provider to you to be able to help you. So whatever it is that you're looking for, we're completely open to making adjustments and adding additions to the methodology for which we're teaching these ancient practices.
That's right. And even though it's a closed enrollment, I mean, you'll get the opportunity if you would like to join us. We would love to have you. And if not, no worries. But even though it is a closed enrollment, there's still no long-term contracts, and you can always cancel your membership and subscription at any time. So you sign up and you decide this isn't for me, no worries. You just send us an email and you're done. So there's really nothing to lose and everything to gain.
We have it set up as a win-win-win for everybody. And when you're winning, then we're winning as well too, because if you're improving your health and your consciousness, means that we're doing our jobs, and then this is how we ripple this beautiful art out to the world. This is how, once again, we really increase the vibration of the planet, is by increasing our own vibrations first and being mindful of how we're thinking and what we're focusing on.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
so deep. So it starts with each one of us individually taking responsibility for our own selves and then being the change that we wish to see in the world.
Yeah, my friend Tom Walsh, who's a Qigong teacher trainer level 2, who teaches classes for us and is moving on to the medical program. He turned me on to Richard Rohr a couple years ago, and one of the things that Richard Rohr talks about in his one of his books, anyways, I believe it's called Breathing Underwater. He talks about stinking thinking.
Stinking thinking.
Yep, stinking thinking.
A lot of us can relate to that.
Yeah, and that creates a vibration, especially
it
if we're focusing on something negative or a repeat pattern or something. That vibration goes outward. So
maybe Qigong is like perfume thinking, the opposite of stinking thinking.
get you smelling great.
Get you smelling and feeling better than before.
Yeah. Okay, so if there's any questions, now's the time to ask them.
Now's the question.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what's going on with this thing over here, but
Okay. So
join us.
So please join us and join us again tomorrow. And if we have Qi Discovery Week until Friday this week, and so if you're brand new to the art of Qigong, you have any questions, please type in your questions or email us your questions.
Send us your
memos.
Leave a chat. Share this with your friends. Let everyone know. The Qi Club is going to be opening enrollment starting tomorrow for 1 week. And actually, tomorrow we'll be live, so we'll be talking about the transformation and the real experience, going a little bit deeper into the practices. And then Friday we'll be releasing, it's not a live, but we'll be releasing a testimonial for so you can see some actual real life people and how they have personally benefited from these practices.
Yes, so what a great way to start off 2022.
Yes.
And this is a great gift that you give to yourself and to others. So
how do you spell love?
Well, we spell like this.
L-O-V-E. Love!
And until tomorrow.
Until next time,
We
tomorrow.
will Qi you later.
We will Qi you later.
All right. Everybody have a blessed day. We will
Okay.
see you tomorrow. Thank you so much for joining us. Please share this and give us any comments or questions. Love to answer any questions or comments that you have about Qigong, Tai Chi, about health, wellness. We're here to serve.
We love you.
CMP, OUT out.